Hi, this is the second half of a painting that I started a week or two ago on paper. I've mounted it on chipboard. I'm using golden open acrylics with palette knives and some brushes. I like golden open acrylics. I've been using them for about a decade. I also use oil. I've used casein, gouache, a fair amount of different paints, but I'd say golden open acrylic has become my main paint. I like the longer working time. I've heard people say, oh, that they're buttery like oils. I don't feel that they are. I feel they're still just like, they still have the same feeling as other acrylics. They just take longer to dry. Not much longer, but longer, and they can be re-wet. But eventually they do dry permanently, so they are not like gouache. The other characteristic that they have is as they dry on your palette, if the paint that you're using is a little sizable amount anyway, you know, you can leave them open all night. They'll start to get tacky is what will happen. They never get buttery. I don't feel they're buttery at all. But sometimes I like that tacky stickiness. You know, the water starts to evaporate. They start to cure a little bit as they sit out on the palette. And there's some sweet spots, but those are things that no one can tell you about. You just have to work with them and see how that goes. You can also cover them up. I put them in some wells, kind of like it's just a little plastic tray that has some wells, kind of like a cupcake holder, only it's for paint. I like that, and then I'll cover that up with a piece of plexiglass or something to keep them soft, and they'll last that way for a while if they're actually airtight. I've had golden open acrylics in a palette that's airtight for a year, and open them up and they work fine. Let's see what else. I'm just trying to think about how I work with them and how they work. You can layer pretty easily if you've worked on a pretty absorbent surface. The surface matters, of course. If you've got a really absorbent surface, you won't be able to scrape the color up as well. I also use that. I scrape back in my paintings often. I'm not sure if I did much of that in this painting. I do go back and forth and I change things a lot. I'm very interested in abstraction, so that plays into it, even though my paintings are, I guess, what people think of as sort of neo-impressionist or something. I don't know. I don't like labeling myself. I don't know what to say about this actual painting process here. You just saw how I overlaid a lighter color and a darker color, and that's what I like about these also. I don't work dark to light or light to dark or anything like that. The main thing I do is work large shapes to smaller shapes, and then those shapes just continue to get edited. I'll usually, muck them up at some point and have to go back and fix things, or adjust rather than fix. I like to say adjust better. My palette is usually not loose like this. I got a little irritated with it moving around, but did not take the time to tape it down for some reason. I do weird stuff like that. I don't know why my brain works the way it does. It just does. I use pretty inexpensive brushes. I don't have any fancy, they're usually synthetic. They're usually those kind you get like 10 in a pack or something. As you can see, my mark making is not fine. I have a lot of texture and a lot of things that, aren't exactly in the right spot. I feel like that makes it more interesting. I find that when I try to paint where everything is exactly, like photo-like or something like that, I just don't enjoy it as much. I don't enjoy looking at it. I don't find it as interesting, although technically I believe it's more difficult. So, but I don't enjoy painting that way. It feels kind of heavy in some way, whereas while this, has all painting is challenging, I like the challenges that this type of painting this way kind of brings into me. I'm filling in the background now just so I can get a better sense of the colors. There's too much white there. I'm trying to think of some other things that might be going on of interest. But this is why I like kind of question and answer things better, is I'm not really sure what to talk about off the top of my head. I use flat brushes usually and rounds. Those are the two I work with. I don't really use filberts much, but those are nice brushes as well. The rounded top doesn't really appeal to me. Also, the other thing, these videos, I think, not great with beginner stuff. I'm better at, I've taught, and I do better with intermediate, excuse me, intermediate people. Wow, that is I feel like the president. Intermediate people who have background in painting, but maybe are, I don't want to say stuck. I don't like the word stuck. I think there's other things going on when we say stuck, but people, maybe they're just need a little rethinking, I guess. You know, you need to kind of challenge your own thinking about painting from time to time, I think, and ask yourself, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Have I fallen into some pit that I feel like I need to get out of? I guess you could say it's stuck. I don't know. I shouldn't dislike the word so much. But you know, it's just fresh eyes, right? So I'm bad with beginning because I've been painting for so long that, you know, when people ask me things like, oh, you know, or tell me things like, oh, I didn't know we were supposed to mix the colors together, or how should I arrange the colors on the palette. I find that it's kind of frustrating to me at this point, because I've painted so long that I feel like I have more to offer than that to people, and I think that you can get those questions answered very easily from someone who's, you know, only taken 1 or 2 painting classes, and I've been painting for 40 years. So I get I'm far more interested in talking with people that have got quite a few years under their belt, and maybe just, you know, want a little fresh eye or thought on, you know, their work. So I mean, I'm not really sure why I'm posting these videos, just for fun, posterity. I don't know. There's so many painters out there. Sometimes I question myself, not why I paint, but, you know, what's the big deal, you know, seeing how I do it or telling people how I do it. There's so many people out there doing it. There's so many options. It's like really throwing one more person on the pile. It seems kind of silly in a way. I also tend to think more philosophically about painting than I used to, and that kind of gets me in a little bit of trouble when I'm teaching. I think people think that I'm avoiding explaining how to do things, but it's not true. It's just that's where my mind's at now. But I really was fairly well kind of on my own as far as studying and stuff for most of my life. My period of time where I was training or studying painting with anybody else was just short-lived. I didn't go to college and get a degree and all that kind of stuff. Some college, that's me. So I don't have I don't believe in any hard and fast rules to painting. I think sometimes people see my work and they think, oh, but you must, because this actually, it looks like a person, so you must be following some rules so that you make it look this way. And no, my only thing is I look at it and then I say, what is the shape? What is that shape I'm trying to paint? And what is that color I'm trying to paint? How can I put it down there so it looks similar? But it isn't only about it being similar. I don't match exactly. I think that's a pitfall. It's a pitfall for me anyway. I like to pay more attention to how the colors are interacting with each other on my painting, rather than in kind of having to make it look exactly like it looks in real life. I just think that sounds very, very frustrating to me. I like the idea that my painting is something new and different from a photo or a person in real life. A painting is something different. It should be something different. And I like the paint to look like paint. I find that really enjoyable. It looks like we're almost done here, so good. I can stop my ramble. I don't know what feels sometimes like a meaningless ramble. And yeah, this painting's almost I guess to call it finished. I don't know that paintings are ever finished. There's a point at which we stop. You know, this is a small piece on small work on paper. There's no point for me to spend, 3 months on it. So I won't. I mean, I suppose I could. It just depends on how deeply you want to keep going into looking and seeing new shapes, new colors. It's really infinite looking. You will always discover new things while you're observing something that you're painting. And again, observation isn't necessary. You can paint from your imagination if you like. Obviously, I'm very open about what a painting can be. I think it's just more interesting that way. So yeah, this is about it. And I guess thanks for watching if you watched. I appreciate it. And happy painting, everybody.